let's see. Well, support conversation.
Professor. How are you doing, Professor? Would you care to join me for a cup of tea?
Sure.
Sure.
It occurs to me that whenever we chat, I have a tendency to pester you with my questions and theories about your history. It seems only fair to speak on the topic of myself for once. And perhaps you might feel more positively inclined toward my research if I shared my own story.
You have my attention.
I am quite pleased to hear you're interested. Yes, quite pleased. Well, I suppose I should begin at the beginning, eh? I was born into a noble house of the Empire. Not a large house, mind you, but noble all the same. Our land holdings were small, but our bloodline was quite strong. So, as you can imagine, there were many of us in the family who carried the power of crests. I myself bear a minor crest. Our family's abundance of crests may be part of the reason I've been interested in the topic since I was just a boy. I dedicated myself to my studies, and after years of effort, I became lead crest scholar at the Empire's largest research institution.
Yeah, why come to Garrett Mock?
I had only Imperial blood, and thus Imperial crests, at my disposal in the Empire. So I came to Garrick Mach and devoted myself to my research during my time as a professor. My progress is slow, but with each revelation, I move ever closer to the answers I have sought for decades. Your cooperation as the bearer of the Crest of Flames ensures my research will continue to advance. In fact, it may bring me ever closer to the goal of uncovering everything there is to know about crests. I do hope you shall continue helping me advance in this field of study.
Sure.
Yeah.
Together, we will solve the mystery of your Crest of Flames, and our world will be the better for it. Shall we proceed? My lab instruments are fully prepared. I have a great number of tests I'm excited to carry out. No, don't worry. They won't hurt one bit.
Though, is he just making an encyclopedia of crests, determining what benefits they impart on people and how they're carried over? I'd be interested in knowing what. Ah, trees!
Ah, tree. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna change gears a little bit here.
Okay, what are we doing?
We're just gonna give out gifts to everybody, like lost items. We're just gonna start doling them out.
Besides your hair and eyes?
Because we have a big sack of...
Even if this prevents you from getting their peak motivation every week?
I mean, we only have a little bit left before we can stop giving out lost items anyway.
That's true.
Hey!
So, might just be best to get rid of as many as we can.
Oh. That is...
Okay. Because, like, if we run across a student, I should just give them gifts, give them their lost items back. Purely because we've got to get them out of the bag, and it's not like I need to farm... Well, I can farm battles with everybody.
But not the items.
So hungry. Oh, is that you, Professor? Sorry, I'm really not feeling well this month. Even leaving my room for dinner is just too much. It's got nothing to do with your, changes. So, don't open the door, please.
Let's see, are we gonna finish this chapter tonight, or can you go to bed? I mean, we will finish the chapter tonight, but if you want to go to bed, you're welcome to. This might take a little while.
At this point, we're just handing out gifts and beefing up our relationship status with them.
Okay, so
from C to B.
Hedgehog case, needle and thread, and a still life picture. Still life picture. I think we already gave her the needle and thread.
Yes. What was the last one? Hedgehog something?
Hedgehog case. Already gave it out.
Oh, okay. You have so many support conversations now.
Yes? So, this month's mission is to take part in a ritual at the Holy Tomb, where you will receive a revelation from...
Progress.
Yep,
We've
sorry.
heard this one before.
I was just quickly going down. Okay. So Ignatz is art book, bluestone, and letter to the goddess.
Oh!
That had a sound effect associated with it.
His motivation was low.
Oh, okay. That's
Art
good.
book. I don't think I've seen bluestone yet.
I thought I did, unless we gave it to
there it
someone
is.
else.
Oh, that's...
There you go.
Oh, you can give lost items to people you recruited after time skip. Huh. Okay. Ignatz is still C. But while we're here.
This month's mission is to take part in a ritual at the Holy Tomb, where you will receive a... What if she really... I've always imagined that...
Okay, so Ignatz needs ancient coin, ceremonial sword, forget-me-nots.
Oh, yeah, we have all those. I think we have the, or at least we have the forget-me-nots and the ancient coin.
Yeah, best to give out flowers because they're super renewable.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, support X. Okay, Ignatz is good. So we still have Lorenz, Marianne. We're actually this list is depleting pretty quick. Oh, somebody's inside here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Ash.
Ash. We're up to B with him already, but lost items for Ash. I just figure by getting rid of all of these, we never have to think about it again. Even if it's a bit of a pain right now, we'd have to do this anyway. So bundle of herbs, evil repelling amulet, and Moon Knight's tail. So we have all of those.
Okay, we have the herbs.
Hey, I've... Hey.
Okay. Let's see.
Yes?
So next is Caspar.
Oh.
Professor.
Oh, good. I was afraid we'd have to, like, leave
Seek
and
them
come
out.
back.
Yeah.
Hey, Professor. The students seem to like you.
It would seem that way.
And you're not modest about it. I like that. Still, I can't deny that you've got skills. It's a little strange, to be completely honest. I had my doubts, but they were right to make you a professor.
I knew I could do it.
Oh? You're an odd one. But what's it matter? Seems like it turned out fine for you. I'll admit, it's unbelievable that you used to be a mercenary. I was a merc before coming here, but I can't imagine pulling off your fancy tactician act. I freeze up near royals and nobles.
Not a fan of nobles?
Yeah, that's a good question.
You deal with a lot of nobles when you're a merc. I didn't mind putting my life on the line, but I never liked having to bow and scrape to our noble employers. And that's what I like about being a knight. I get to punch all the nobles I want. I'm joking. But the knights do make a good business partner.
Business partner?
I don't believe in the Church of Seiros. It makes me a bit of an anomaly among the knights.
Rhea took me in, so I became a knight to repay my debt to her.
I may be a knight, but it still feels like I'm doing the same things I did as a merc. Who knows, though? Maybe you and I will end up working together again, like at Deirdre. Us knights are a pretty tough crew. I'm guessing you'd run circles around us, though.
I'm interested to see where your path leads you.
That's nice. I always thought her cold and calculating, perhaps, but...
Nope.
Well,
I think that's just... I think that's true of a lot of these, that they buck against the initial impression that you get of them. I kind of like that.
You're so strong. I thought I...
Okay, so lost items. There's not much. I think we've already given this guy everything. So grounding charm...
I'm struggling to figure out if he sweeps his bangs over his head or if he has a really low hairline. I think he sweeps his hair over his head.
You really saved me with this.
Yeah, he does. And we already gave him the Thunderbrand replica. Oh man, this is starting to clear out. Look at that. I mean, it's still long, but we're good. Okay. So this is Caspar. There we go. Smoked meat, training weight, and whetstone. Wow, this guy is one-dimensional.
I mean, these are the exact same items that you had given to Felix.
For me?
Yeah.
So there's probably a general type, if you will, based off of their interests.
I thought...
Training weight, probably.
Nah, I'm just giving him a smoked meat. It doesn't matter which one you give him. No?
Well, one was a better quality than the other.
True.
For me?
A lot of meat, though. I don't want to overdo it. Nope, another training weight.
I thought...
I would think it'd be better to give a character fewer high-quality items than lesser items.
For me? For me?
Naming Caspar with food? Food, weapon-related things, mostly food. Okay, so we can't do anything with Caspar yet.
Yeah.
I wonder if the reason why we can't get a B rank with a number of the Black Eagles is because they have dialogue related to, like... Well, I mean, probably the time skip, but probably things that Edelgard does during it.
Potentially.
Okay, so all we have left is Marianne...
Oh, Lorenz.
Leonie, and Lorenz. My own house people. The ones that I don't use often. Oh, and we should probably go back to Shamir and dump gifts on her.
Did we just get to C rank with her?
Yeah, we got to C rank with her. So we should probably push that up. Now, I think we didn't actually end up giving her all of her lost items. Oh, right, because we maxed her out real quick. So... Shamir... Centipede picture...
Alright, we still have the centipede picture.
Thanks.
Animal bone dice. And bundle of dry hemp.
I don't know if we have either of those.
Nope. Okay, so what is she like normally?
Probably weapon stuff.
Yep. Okay, Shamir is at the bottom. She likes sheet music, coffee beans, spices, hunting daggers, and sunflowers.
Wait. Huh. Interesting.
Thanks.
Maybe things that remind her of her
Thanks.
homeland.
Thanks.
So note to self, grow some
Thanks.
yellow flowers.
Thanks.
Okay. And there we go. But we can't get up to B yet.
I can't imagine getting a bundle of sunflowers. That'd be massive.
Ah! Open your mouth. Let me shake these seeds into it. Ah! Okay, so Leonie,
you have to roast seeds,
Marianne,
though.
and Lorenz.
I've probably told the sunflower seed experiment numerous times on this channel, though.
What was that?
You know, my AP biology course where we had to create an experiment that demonstrated animal behavior, which was interesting because, you know, a lot of people had pets. So, of course, they had an animal that they could experiment with animal behavior on. But at that point, my goldfish had passed away after 13 and a half years. Oh, I loved him so much. And I had guinea pigs back in first grade, but my mom became allergic to them and we had to adopt them out. And I just felt so bad that I didn't have a pet at the time. So I tried to think of a creative way to have an animal behavior experiment that involved animals that were in my backyard. And I thought, well, a question I always had was, there was that trail at Mendon Ponds Park where if you had ample sunflower seeds, well, mixed seeds, if you will, too, chickadees would just come down from the branches and they'd land on your hand, and that was the major draw for the birdsong trail, to have chickadees, titmus, nuthatches, birds of that nature, little tiny songbirds, and landing in your hand. And they were so adorable. I've taken Wander there numerous times, and that's actually where we got engaged long ago. So I always noticed that the birds selectively picked out black sunflower seeds from the mixed seed in my hand.
Long ago, is that what? No.
And I would go, huh, well,
don't...
maybe I should conduct an experiment with the birds outside. And what made it animal behavior was, my experiment was striped sunflower seeds, which have a harder shell than black sunflower seeds.
Yes.
Black sunflower seeds, and then shelled sunflower seeds, as in ones that just had the meat, if you will, inside them. And my experiment was, I was going to put out 3 bird feeders, and the birds would, you know, eat at the sunflower seeds. I was going to weigh them in advance, and every day I was going to see how much seed was depleted from each one. Unfortunately, the squirrels had other plans for my sunflower seed experiment. They were knocking down my feeders and stealing seed for themselves. So we ended up getting bafflers and putting them out on the swing set, because I was using the monkey bars on the swing set out in our backyard as a means to hang these, because we had so many things that weren't suitable, like the porch and stuff. Birds weren't going to go there, so I had it out on the swing set. And it was hilarious when we put the bafflers out. If you don't know what a baffler is, it's a kind of shield that, if you have a post that's a bird feeder and it's far away from any trees, you can have a large disc around the post and it keeps the squirrels from climbing up. If you're trying to prevent a squirrel from getting at it when it's hanging from a tree or something, what you do is you hang it in such a way that they have to jump down on it and then they get pushed off the top of the bird feeder. So I put bafflers on them, and it was hilarious because the squirrels would climb up onto the swing set, try to jump onto the bird feeders, and then they'd slide off the sides of the bafflers at the top. I think they managed to mess up my experiment a couple times, but I was finally able to get a consistent number of days where seed was only being eaten by birds as far as I knew. I think we ended up getting a lot of cardinals, a number of chickadees, even some finches, like goldfinches and such. So it was fairly successful. And oddly enough, the hypothesis, I suppose, for the experiment was that while the birds liked sunflower seeds and favored them over them, maybe I should have tried another seed variety or different seed varieties, but the reason why I chose all sunflower seeds was I wanted to see if the shell or the lack of shell enticed them more or less. And the birds still favored the black sunflower seeds. Black sunflower seeds have a nice thin shell that you can crack open, and the birds like to pick them up, take them to a nearby tree, crack them open, and eat the flesh within. But they didn't favor the striped ones as much because they do have so much harder shells. But what surprised me was that they actually weren't eating as much of the ones that lacked shells. And you would think that they would go for the path of least resistance and eat something that they didn't have to really work for. But it's still instinctual. They prefer having a seed to crack open. People are like chickadees. Yeah. Chickadee-dee-dee-dee. That's what they sound like. They're adorable. Well, go on. Let's see what Catherine has to say.
I was trying to catch you off guard, but you managed to block it. Not
Wait.
too shabby, Professor.
She was doing one of those preemptive attacks to test you.
That was dangerous.
Yep.
Oh, come on. Look at the blade I threw. It's just a wooden training sword. At worst, you could have gotten a bruise or perhaps a splinter. Let's agree it was funny and move on.
Have you not seen what I can do with one of those? I killed dragons with those things. You fool. I could have died.
How? By choking on it? Don't be so dramatic. Besides, I knew you'd dodge in time. I told you before that I was going to observe you. Since then, I've been watching you. I know what you're capable of. I took steps to make myself invisible, so I could observe you without being detected. I hardly let you out of my sight. After extensive research, I've concluded that you really are first-rate. Your sword skills are impeccable, you're a gifted educator, you clearly love working with the students. Someone with all of your exceptional qualities should not exist, but here you are. At first, I thought Geralt was the reason for Lady Rhea's interest in you. But no, Lady Rhea knew exactly what she was doing when she singled you out. Unfortunately, I can't hope to emulate you, let alone wield the sword of the Creator. So my plan of imitating you for Lady Rhea's attention has come to nothing.
So you're gonna stop watching me?
I didn't say that. I plan to give Lady Rhea a detailed report about what you're up to. Hopefully, then I'll be in her good graces. Oh, and don't think you can avoid being watched. I won't let you out of my sight.
Okay. So let's collect these support conversations, and then we'll actually proceed with this chapter.
Okay, thank goodness.
And I will probably go gift giving next time. So at the beginning of next month, I believe we get a fishing festival. That's where we're gonna stop tonight, hopefully. That's gonna be where I go bananas.
Are you gonna do all your gift giving off screen?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Professor, a pleasure to see you.
Are you praying?
I've never been very good at praying. I was here to confess my foolishness. While I'm at it, may I confess something to you too?
No need to ask, go ahead.
I realize what a burden I've been. On you, I mean. After every breakup, I neglect my work, and I know how that affects you. I'm completely worthless as a woman. Can you imagine how that feels? Oh, I'm going to be single for the rest of my life. I just know it. You think so too, don't you?
Whoa, 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 whoa. So, she's been dating, breaking up, and then she fails to teach her students. And
it's in the name.
The thing is, she doesn't even have any students anymore. You've recruited everyone.
Have you seen that mustache? Hanneman. Mustache.
Well, what she was saying here is that I'm a worthless woman because I'm incapable of finding a date and getting married. We should say, no, you're not worthless.
Really? So if I couldn't find anybody else, you'd marry me? Oh, don't worry. I can tell by the look on your face you didn't mean it. What's wrong with me? It's not my looks. I'm still gorgeous. Or am I? Be honest, do I look old? No, not possible. I'm the songstress who swept the Empire off its feet. Men professed their love for me hourly. It can't be my looks.
You look just fine.
You're right. Although, just fine is a bit... Well, it's better to be attractive than just fine. Oh no. If the problem isn't my looks, and they are not the problem, then it must be... what? My personality?
I
know you're trying to find a way to say it gently, but you think there's a problem, don't you? I suppose I can be a bit unkempt. I do have a short temper, and I may be a little lazy, sometimes. But I've always heard fellas, you know, like a woman with a few flaws. Seems to me there are plenty of flawed girls who have landed themselves a good man. So maybe my trouble is I'm not imperfect enough. Do you think I could use a few more flaws?
No.
No.
Are you saying I'm perfect as I am? Come now, you'll make me blush.
The problem is you're putting words into everyone's mouths.
Yeah.
What wonder?
Just everything about her. It's weird.
Item.
Oh.
In the barrel.
Item, the barrel item. Yep, there we go. Blowfly.
My advice to anyone about this relationship business is... it's just nice to be with your best friend.
Oh, for a scarf.
Friendship comes first.
You know what comes after that?
What?
Let me see.
Butt touching.
What? No.
It's the direct line. Friendship, butt touching.
No.
Platonic or not.
No.
Then a spot of sensual puff puff.
Wonder.
Puff. Puff.
Great weather today. Perfect for shutting yourself inside, don't you think?
Why are you always perseverating on the physical aspects of things?
Because a spot of sensual puff puff. You can never go wrong. Definitely.
I'm glad you get it. With great weather like this, there'll be no one inside to bother us. I love feeling like I'm all alone in the world.
What made you such a recluse?
Oh, that. Well, I guess I can tell you, Professor. My father's obsessed with money. He's only ever seen me as bait for a rich husband. To train me to be a good, submissive wife, he'd do things like tie me to a chair and leave me there all day, challenging me to stay quiet. I tried hard to do as he asked. Honestly, I did. But before I knew it, I just couldn't bring myself to leave my room anymore.
Jesus
Whoa.
freaking Christ.
1 minute,
That's...
1 minute.
Holy butts.
At this point, we've discovered how many members of the female cast are preoccupied with finding a man.
Do we want to make a chart of daddy issues? Because we could.
Wait, we didn't add her to the list of people with daddy issues
we didn't know.
Yet? Okay. So she's another
yeah,
character. So there are so many characters with daddy issues, and many of them are girls that have an issue with their fathers because their fathers want to marry them off.
Yeah, which I guess is endemic for the time. We're also finding that some other people have daddy issues in terms of
expectations.
Yeah,
about how they're going
or
to
like in
rule.
Lorenz's case, his father might actually be low-key evil. Or in the case of Felix, where his father is a good guy and Felix is low-key evil. Well, just a dick, but still daddy issues. Just kind of the more, well, not exactly wholesome version. I don't know. Anyway, cripes.
And people are also wondering what Puff Puff is. It's something from Dragon Quest Builders.
Well, no, just Dragon Quest.
Finally,
Just Dragon Quest.
And there are these ladies that are dancers, and they can offer people Puff Puff.
Yeah, and it's usually like touching a burly dude on the pecs, or like 2 slimes. It's great. Sensual Puff Puff. Anyway, this, like, Marianne's father might be verbally abusive. Ingrid's father is obviously pushing her towards marriage. I mean,
there are other fathers.
Yeah.
We need to go back to our list of characters and we can.
Well,
list
Ash's
it out again.
adoptive father ended up trying to go on a crusade against the church and got
getting
wrecked.
killed.
Sylvain's father just also sees him as a bargaining chip.
And also banished or exiled his older brother.
Yeah, for not having a crest and some other things.
So his value is because of his crest.
Yeah. Raphael's parents died. Not exactly daddy issues, but still. Lorenzo's father might be evil because he was certainly sending
He's definitely vying to become the new leader of the Alliance.
Yeah, well, he was also sending his soldiers to raid shipments.
Yeah, they were killing people. Actually, they could be responsible for the death of Ignatz and
death of Raphael's...
Well, Raphael's parents that would have killed Ignatz's parents.
Yeah.
If they hadn't
let's
gone.
see, what else do we got?
Well, if they had gone.
I mean, Claude's family sounded weird.
It sounded like he had more issues with his mother, perhaps, but his father is a mystery man.
Yeah.
And possibly from Almyra, which...
Yeah. Oh, apparently Marianne's father's actually a good dude. Okay, she's just...
you always thought that he was bad, but I was always like, well, maybe he's a really gifted orator.
Yeah, everybody just said he had a way with words and a sharp tongue and some other things, so I just assumed he was verbally abusive.
It could be that he's just really charismatic and talkative, and she's the exact opposite.
True.
So if she has issues with her father, it's just that she can't live up to his reputation and his potential.
That's true. And so very possible.
Right. So that's a different type of daddy issue. That's when the dad isn't doing anything wrong. It's just that...
Oh man, we should make the Fire Emblem 3 houses sliding scale of daddy issues.
We could.
We could. Anyway.
Eventually.
Why not?
I just had this overwhelming feeling of fear all the time. No matter how hard I tried, my father never thought I was good enough. After that, it was just constant scolding. He couldn't say 2 words to me without mentioning how useless I was. An unmarriageable girl. My life was isolated, to say the least. I wasn't allowed to play with other kids, let alone make friends. Soon, I stopped wanting that. I was happiest alone, but even that made him mad. And when he tried to drag me outside, I kicked and screamed so much, I seriously hurt myself. He's calmed down a bit in recent years. His constant torment was replaced with complete indifference. He mostly acts like I don't exist now.
How'd you end up at the monastery?
If you can believe it, I was basically kidnapped. My mother ordered an attendant to stuff me in a bag while I was sleeping. By the time I figured out what was going on, I was already here. For a while, I was sure I was going to die. But here I am. Look at me. Still breathing. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get you down talking like that about my past. Just forget everything I told you. There's no point in talking about myself anyway. Idiot! Oh, this is why everyone hates you, Bernie!
Aww. What are you doing?
Oh, I had zoned out during this line specifically.
Essentially, her mom had her quote-unquote kidnapped and brought to the monastery.
Yeah, that works out. Let's see. How much, on the scale, how many daddy issues does X have? JRPG protagonist.
I mean...
That is his classification.
Dubious knowledge of his
but it was
actual age.
It was still a relatively positive experience, if a bit busted, but that's largely because his personality was busted anyway. Like, everybody...
No, it was really nice when his father was dying and he says, "Oh, it's now that I see you cry."
Yeah, well, it's one of those where it's like, Geralt was a weird dude, but like, considering how just base default broken the Byleth is, Geralt did a pretty good job. Like, sure, okay, main character doesn't know his age, but I don't think Geralt was particularly interested in ages and numbers like that at all.
I think he was just protecting him, keeping him away from the monastery, which is weird because he had no objection to returning to the monastery.
Oh, he did. He didn't want to come back, but it was kind of one of those where it's like...
You have to.
Well, he knew... So, the moment Rhea became aware of Byleth's existence...
She wasn't going to give up on it.
Geralt knew he couldn't hide Byleth anymore. Because he was 100% hiding Byleth from Rhea.
Mm-hmm.
Because he faked Byla's death. And
Right, with the fire.
Yeah, the only reason why Rhea didn't chase after Geralt was because she thought Byleth was gone, which is the only reason why she cared about Geralt. Probably. Ish. We'll find out more as we go along, probably. Anyway, thank you for confiding in me.
What? No, it's not... Oh, Professor! How can you be so kind to me? I don't deserve it. I'm sorry. Please don't look at me.
Look at me. I am the father now. It really does kind of feel like that we're just going around collecting slightly troubled children and just adding them to our army in lieu of, like, making them kind of face the world on their own. Which is a weird statement to make, because all kids should be able to eventually stand on their own 2 feet. But this is a real dark business here and there.
Well, really, all I'm seeing in this kingdom is that people are way too preoccupied with crests. To the point of them making political alliances and infighting and murder and forcing their children into marriages prematurely with people they don't even love. Or, especially the female children's, like, all the daughters, especially those with crests, are being, or even the ones without, if you think about it, are being encouraged to pursue boys. And then that's in turn causing issues with the guys, where they have complexes like Sylvain, where they can't trust anyone because they don't know if the girl's interest is because of him or because of his crest. And this whole crest business, I think the world would be benefited by either having all the crests stripped away from all the bloodlines, or giving everyone a crest power. But if the crests are tied to what I assume to be these weird dragon blood stones, or whatever is powering these weapons, and if the lines are thinning, then eventually it would die away. But it depends on how much of an impact these creatures have on the future.
Mm-hmm.
Love to see.
Professor?
What are you doing?
Please take my apologies. I lost time while I was training. There are not many chances for real fighting here. My body is more weak than it was. Weaker, I mean. I will keep training now. I hope your night is good.
You should get some rest.
I need to have more training. There are things that I have not done yet. Things that have to be done. For the future. I have to try with hardness. Training, studying, socializing. I will not always be having time to do those things. And speaking the language of Fódlan, I worry I will never be doing it just right.
Why do you try so hard?
Why? Because the position of Brigid is weak. Fódlan and Dagda are big. Brigid is a small island in the middle of them. Brigid has great beauty, but little power. We will not survive unless we get more strength. I will lead Brigid, and so I have responsibility. I have to have more strength than anyone.
But how will being the strongest fighter help her people?
Well, I mean, like, it's a deterrent.
Mm-hmm.
Much like I guess I'm gonna say, you know, the bigger the gun you have, the less likely somebody would want to invade you. Mm-hmm. So, if invading Brigid looks like it's going to be a giant waste of manpower.
But what about the rest of her people?
Well, I mean, if she comes back this mighty, like, warrior woman, she can train her own people and bring everybody up at least somewhat to her level.
Mm-hmm.
At which point, all of Brigid becomes scary. So, like, the value of taking a small island versus the amount of people you'd have to chuck at that, you know, people might rethink it and they stay independent.
Frankly, invading islands has always been an issue. There was the Pacific War, essentially, at the latter half of, or the sort of like, I don't know, it was an awkward time at the end of World War II, but that was when it was just battles from one island to the next in the Pacific, and it was just very bloody, very costly.
So, perhaps you're right.
Yes, that is why I have to give it my best try. I am an ally of everyone, and I have belonging at the Officers' Academy. That is also why I try with hardness. You can always be counting on me. But you should know that one of these days will be when I return to Brigid. Before that day, do not try stopping me from trying. And please, keep watching over me. With you, I can try with more hardness than I could alone.
We're almost there. Just several more support conversations.
Mm-hmm.
How many do we have? Looks like it's just these 3 remaining. That's probably for the best. So...
Oh, hey, item.
Oh.
Professor.
You'll have to go back in the hall.
You're certainly not going easy on me. You fight like a mercenary, not a knight. You hunger for victory, pure and simple. You may not be aware of it yourself, but I see it.
Should I take that as a compliment?
Indeed. Knights ought to have some hunger. I've always thought so. They depend too much on their swords. Only when they're rested away do knights consider their hands and feet as weapons. That's not how it was for warriors of old. They weren't limited by their tools. Victory is what matters, not the method of achieving it. That's the attitude to adopt. I detect that in your style. It is plain to see.
I'm a little disappointed that they have the same animations for everyone.
Oh, yeah.
They always have the one hand on the hip for the guys, the nod while they have the hand on the hip, the raise their hand up to their forehead.
Yeah,
and talk a little bit.
Because it's easy to animate.
But, well, it's easy, but then it's also the same. They probably just rigged it so that they all work on the same animation track.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing happened with Mass Effect Andromeda.
And the girls always have the put their hands up to their chin like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, there's
surprise
a couple.
At one point,
but you could absolutely point at the stock animation that they use between all of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few that have like the occasional unique animation, but yeah. That doesn't seem like praise.
You may take it however you like. I believe the difference between us lies within that hunger. But where does it come from? From the start, I was aiming to win. Yet I couldn't defeat you. Then I remembered something you said before.
About your aspirations?
Sure.
Indeed. I was raised to value strength above all else, whereas you had a reason, an ambition, pushing you toward that hunger. So tell me, what was the reason? Why were you driven to become so strong?
I mean, originally it was to survive, but if you want to be noble, then...
To survive!
That's a mercenary's answer, to be sure. So that is the source of your hunger. I suppose I must find my own.
We can find it together.
If we're to get along, I think not. I'll be content if you continue to train with me. Perhaps it will come to me as I swing my sword.
Yeah. Oh, item.
Item was inside.
Item.
To the left.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, ginger tea.
Ginger tea. By the way, while we're here...
Food.
What?
Oh, Garrick mock meat pie. Crispy brown pie baked with tomatoes, cheese, and chunks of meat.
Well, the only characters that need motivation are the characters that don't like it. So, Gilbert!
Gilbert. No.
Nah. Let's see. Honestly...
Everyone's super motivated.
I'm gonna grab the characters that I don't use.
Okay.
So probably Lorenz and Ignatz.
Okay.
I did not expect much from the dining hall, but this does not disappoint.
This food is a revelation. I can't help but smile when I eat it.
Okay. It was interesting having a dining hall to eat at.
Where?
Back in college.
Oh. Well, we had several.
Yeah, it was kind of fun. I enjoyed it freshman year when I was, like, meeting a bunch of people. And it was mostly freshmen in that hall.
You there,
oh.
youngster. Won't you listen to this old man's troubles? I was born and raised right here in this town. I spent my whole life here. My daughter lives in the Empire, and she sent me a letter to ask if I was keeping up with my daily worship.
Wait, is this Marianne's dad just come to, like, spy?
I don't know.
Well, hello there, Professor. Is this a friend of yours?
Mercedes. I don't know him.
Is that so? I was sure you two knew each other. Is there something we can do for you, good sir?
Oh, what a lovely young lady. I was just telling this kind soul a story.
Really? What's troubling you?
Well, I was thinking of going to daily prayer, but my leg's been acting up and I can't walk properly.
How terrible. That's no good at all. May I be of assistance? I'd be happy to lend a shoulder and escort you to the chapel.
Would you? Oh, I'd be most grateful to you. Thank the goddess for sending this young lady to me today.
We'll need your help too, Professor. Here, sir, take my arm. Splendid work, Professor. You really seem to appreciate our assistance.
We did a good deed.
Putting a smile on someone's face always seems to brighten up the day. Is something wrong? You're giving me a strange look.
How did you know something was bothering him?
Oh, how should I put this? I suppose it's just second nature to me.
Wander?
Meow.
Did you have belly button lint?
Yes, shush. Why? Why would you mention this?
Because you just flicked it onto the floor.
Yes. Shush. I can be a slob in my own home.
If you guys don't know, Wander collects lint in his belly button.
I have a very deep belly button, so it just, like, devours shirts.
And
slowly.
His belly hair acts like a cheese grater for his shirts.
It's awful.
So that's how the lint accumulates there.
It's so bad.
It's difficult to describe, but I can usually tell when someone is worried about something. Back there, I could tell that both you and the old man were in distress. I spent a good amount of my life living in the church. Maybe that's why I'm so good at identifying these things?
Well, one thing I'm wondering are we ever going to find out if Yuritsa was truly the
I bet
the
we
Death
find
Knight?
that out later. Because we haven't even killed the Death Knight yet, I don't think.
No, we still have to pursue the Death Knight and the Flame Emperor. But there was something between them. She said, he resembles something. Well, at least Yuritsa did. Someone I've met before. Someone I should know.
That's news to me.
Did I not mention that before?
I spent nearly 10 years of my life in the Church of Seiros. Many came to us with their troubles. In my own time of need, I once ran to the church myself, and they helped me. May I share something with you, Professor? It's about a dream of mine.
What's your dream?
I'd like to work in the church one day. I want to be like the priest who helped me. Never mind. It's not a very realistic dream. Please forget I said anything. If I were someone else, perhaps a commoner without a crest or stature, maybe things would be different. It's a bit sad, but this is the way things have to be. After all, only the goddess can decide our fates.
I sense family issues. Is it your father?
People
your
are
mother?
suggesting you collect the land now?
Yeah.
It'd be weird if you could felt it into a
You
tiny
could.
little creature.
I've heard of that, but gross? Gross?
Like, we could keep a jar and just see. I'm kidding. That'd be too much.
Father!
Wait, no.
Professor.
No, he's
A moment?
he's not our father.
We're a lost duckling,
I am sorry
searching
that
for
I
our
doubted
green-haired
your
father.
ability. I deeply regret ever holding such a view of you. It is obvious to me now that you are extraordinary.
Really?
Do you doubt your own power, even now? I suppose that's only natural. You've lived your whole life knowing next to nothing about yourself. Not even Gerald could have possibly known all there is to know about you. But I wonder, are you satisfied with that?
What do you mean?
Are you content, not knowing who you are? Or do you yearn to know more?
I wish to know more.
I wish to know more.
That was a foolish question, of course. You are not the sort to be complacent. So, only one more question matters. Are you ready?
Ready for what?
The truth. All of it. Learning it will doubtlessly have direct consequences on your life. I do not know what those will be. You may decide, once you learn it, that you wish you hadn't. But even if you have such regrets, you will never be able to return to ignorance. So, are you ready to know the truth?
Yes, I am.
I see. That is what I wish to hear. The Archbishop continues to put her faith in you, and so you will continue to have my aid. More than that, I will put my faith in you as well, and I will do all that is within my power to help you someday reach the truth.
You ass, you probably know more of the truth. Ugh. Okay, support. So we still have conversations with Lorenz, Ignatz, Marianne, Leonie, and that's it. But for some reason, they haven't shown up yet.
Yep. I mean, maybe not until the next week.
Oh, wait, no, there they are. We just had to teleport.
Yep.
That's such a tease moment. They're just like, are you ready for the truth? Yes. You're gonna have to wait. Ah!
Can you show me?
Professor.
All right.
Professor? There's something I need to say.
I'm happy to listen.
Thank you. How should I put this? I don't seem to be getting along with everyone. I don't contribute much either. Am I a nuisance to you, Professor? If so, I'll leave. Of course, my adoptive father may not understand, but if I must...
Your adoptive father?
Oh, my adoptive father is one of the new nobles of the Alliance. His territory is to the north. He was a distant relative who took me in after my parents vanished. He's blessed with great drive and ambition. Some may go so far as to call it avarice. He wishes to marry me off to a powerful noble. That's why he sent me to the academy. If I left now, I'm sure he'd have a strong opinion about it. Sorry. I strayed away from the topic. I'm not good at telling stories either.
How many of these poor young girls have a father that's trying to marry them off?
Yes. With the exception of Hilda.
She has a brother.
Who just wants her to fight.
But who is sick.
Well, for a battle.
For a battle.
But no, her brother just wants her to try her best and become the wall that she was born to be. And she's like, no, but I wish to foist that duty upon everyone else. And we thought that he was
just a really competent orator that was overshadowing her. Well, not overshadowing her, but she never lived up to his reputation of being a really good and charismatic conversationalist, and how she was lacking in the ability to converse in the manner that he did. But no! No! Why is it the whole marriage business?
Anyway, you were saying?
Oh, of course. Where was I? So, as I was saying, are you sure I'm not bothering you, Professor?
You're no bother at all.
Oh, I'm so grateful to hear you say that. What I'm trying to say is, you should keep your distance. I'm more trouble than I'm worth.
I will not agree to that.
You only say that because you don't know the real me. I'm sorry, I have to go.
But what is the real Marianne? The one that talks to animals? I
would love it if, like, if you get up to A rank with her personality flips, and she's like, you encourage her to be, like, her real self, and she just, like, becomes a total, like an absolute badass. Like, I don't know.
Kind of Princess Mononoke-esque. Destroy all humans!
Yeah, just squirrel army. Half the time her portrait is just, like, Professor. Animals. For every mounted unit that goes down in a fight, they just join her.
Look, I'm sorry I snapped at you. I didn't mean to lose my temper. I was rude to you. I should have known better.
It's alright.
Huh, I thought you might say that. In that way, you're just like Captain Gerald. You accept other people. You don't let petty details get under your skin.
How do you know my father?
Well, when I was a kid, I kind of latched onto him. I've been calling myself his apprentice ever since. He spent some time in the village I grew up in. Actually, you weren't with him back then. Why not?
Oh no.
I am legitimately... I want to know this.
Because if he was in her village more recently than he was supposedly killed and adopted... By killed, I mean the whole church fire thing. Did this all occur more recently? Did he just
grow
up
Gerald has
immensely
definitely
fast?
been gone for that long. I want an answer on this, but I don't know if we'll ever get it. Which sucks. Anyway, I don't remember.
Huh. Maybe he left you with a relative or something. Anyway, back then, Gerald's job was to deal with poachers. Well, they were bandits, but we called them poachers. Nobody in the village could stand up to them. But your dad, he took them on like it was nothing. I was so impressed. All I could think was how amazing mercenaries were. I'd lived in that tiny village my whole life, so to me, Captain Gerald was nothing short of a legend. So I went right up to him and I told him I was going to be his apprentice. He didn't stick around long after that, but he did teach me a lot while he was with us. Tactics, strategy, training routines, it was all so new and exciting. So after he left, I kept at it, kept training, just like he taught me.
What? I'm glad to see you got to see him again.
Me too. I always planned to meet him again once I became a top-tier mercenary. But I'm just glad I got to see him, to thank him properly and all. I've spent my whole life working to become a great mercenary like your father. There were so many times when I wanted to ask his advice, but I couldn't. I just had to make do. That's how I've made it this far. Just hard work, all on my own. But then you come along.
And it's like you don't appreciate Captain Gerald at all, or how lucky you were to have him around your whole life. No, it still really bothers me. You might be his kid, but I'm still his best apprentice. Got it?
Lady doesn't look like he trained me. I started at level 1 in this game, just like you. You don't see me going around complaining about it.
Right. I was listening to her conversation and trying to figure out if things were supposed to be in the past tense or present tense for it. If it did or did not take into account the fact that he passed away. It seemed like it had, but then there was that last line of, I'm still his best apprentice.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, time to sneak off and do some painting. Professor, such lovely weather today, huh?
No skipping class.
Just about to go for a walk.
A likely story. Why are you bringing paper on a walk?
What, this? No, it's I'm sorry, Professor. I'll admit it. I was going to do some painting. You remember
Lying
the
is for
place where we
losers.
talked before? I've been painting the scenery there. I'm still keeping up with my academics and training, of course. I just paint in my spare time, as a change of pace.
You don't have to hide it. Art is cool.
Oh, I don't? Well, yes. Maybe you're right. I may have gotten ahead of myself. I'm sorry for panicking there. Honestly, I'm just worried that my father will find out that I've been painting.
I'm not your dad.
Wait! More daddy issues?
More daddy issues.
No!
Put him on the scale.
Of course. Why would you go out of your way to tell him that? Completely illogical of me. But it seems I've developed a bit of a complex about it.
At least you realize
not a fan
it.
of my artistic pastime, you see. We're
Daddy
a merchant
issues.
family, and my older brother is set to inherit the business. As for me, my father decided I should be a knight. That's why I'm at the academy. Painting won't help me become a knight. It's a waste of time.
But imagine if he became a court painter. You know that some of the most influential people back in the day were the court painters?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, being artists, we had to take quite a number of classes about art history, and oh man, I had to have a whole class dedicated just to the Medici family and Renaissance.
Yep.
Renaissance artwork, and how so many of the great pieces was noble families having either depictions of themselves or depictions of mythology or depictions of Christian iconography, and how, I mean, those are the things that stand the test of time. You have paintings that are centuries old. And
of boring old dead people.
Wait, what?
I don't know. Everything from that period of time is just portraits. And some are kind of cool, but like, good lord, they got boring.
At the same time, they didn't have photography back then.
It's true.
So it's one of those things where I mean, being a knight is a noble venture and all and such, but when there's peacetime,
you gotta do something.
Well, also, I don't understand why art wouldn't be in line with their mercantile business.
I think his dad is a stuck-up clod.
They should make a printing press and illustrated books, and those would be a huge hit all throughout the land. Illustrated novels showcasing X's deeds. And that of... I mean, this is gonna go into the books. This is gonna be a legend of epic proportions, and Ignatz can have a first-hand account.
They don't have the printing press. That's heresy. Is that why you feel guilty about it?
Well, yes. I feel like I'm betraying my parents. I hear the business has been slow for them over the past few years. If I become a knight for an influential noble house, I could use my connections to help support them. My father was determined to send me here. He must have been, considering the enormous amount of money he spent. I don't think I'm well suited to being a knight. My parents sent me to the academy for their sake, not my own. When I think about how hard my family is working just to stay in business, how can I sit idly by? All of which is just to say that painting will have to remain my little hobby. Nothing more. Not that I could make a career out of it even if I wanted to. That's just a fantasy.
I know everybody likes to neg on being an getting a job as an artist is like impossible.
You mean nag? What did you say?
Neg. Being negative.
Oh,
but like,
I see.
I don't know. I would say my art skills had a massive influence on me becoming a YouTuber.
Professor, have you been looking for me again? I am very busy, you know. I must insist that disruptions for light-hearted chats of this kind be kept to a minimum.
Stop creeping on girls!
Oh.
I've been getting more complaints.
What did I tell you about falling victim to such salacious and slanderous rumors?
What did I tell you about being freaking creepy?
As I've told you, there is obviously a conspiracy against me. There is no manner in which I could possibly be considered bothersome.
Your hair is bothersome. The girls actually do seem bothered.
Professor, I assure you, you have been deceived.
It's one account versus that of about 8 ladies, I'm sure.
There's a point where you have to say, am I being deceived or is this the honest truth? And we are well past that point, Lorenz. You're terrifying.
My adversary has poisoned the hearts of these ladies against me. The plot goes deeper than I thought.
And who is this adversary,
You're
Lorenz?
picking a fight with all women. You will not win. There is no conspiracy. This is real.
But if you truly do insist, please understand, Professor. I am not some scoundrel out for conquest.
No, you are the epitome of stranger danger.
But also, too, I feel so bad for the girls, how half of them are being forced into into making themselves available for suitors, and then having people like him taking advantage of that, and Sylvain to an extent, too.
You look like an escaped Area 51 alien. Asking for probings won't get you anywhere in love.
I am attempting to fulfill my duty as heir of House Gloucester. It is my responsibility to continue our noble line by finding a suitable lady to be my wife.
I don't have enough words to describe how creepy that sounds.
It is a rigorous process. My family has the very highest standards for appearance, grace, temperament, and pedigree.
They're not animals. Stop it.
Good lord, is your family using the ugly stick as a metric for beauty? 'Cause boy, that hairdo terrifies me on some unknown level. So, commoners are excluded?
Typically, yes, even if others are sometimes critical of that notion. For the nobility, marriage is not merely a union of individuals, it is also a union of families. It would not benefit House Gloucester to be tied to a family of powerless commoners, would it? To achieve supremacy, it is necessary for my line to be tied to that of an influential family. That is the best path to peace and prosperity for all. So, as you can see, the future of the Alliance rests on my shoulders.
You have a wildly overinflated sense of ego and self-worth.
It is nothing out of the ordinary. Those of us with noble blood are born to this duty, you know.
There will be a sequel, and you will be one of the dads that people are sad about.
Yes, he will be.
That being said, to avoid misunderstandings, I shall restrain myself until things calm down. I would rather not cause trouble for you after all.
He definitely would be the type to be one of those influential fathers who orders their daughter to go off to school and to find a man of pedigree.
Man, look at those bees. We could pollinate a field with this. Okay.
You're on the ball with your puns.
I haven't had the opportunity for, like, color commentary in a while, because we haven't played, like, Phoenix Wright.
Uh-huh.
And since we're not voice acting this, I've just been, like, holding this shit in for, like, the entire series. Anyway, God, I don't need training. Okay, it's the house versus house magic tournament, they say. Let's see. Have I saved? I should save.
What tournament is it?
Magic tournament.
Magic.
AK Flame just tanks everything. They aren't even going to be able to hit him. But hit her.
Did that suffice?
Like, Flame is legitimately kind of monstrous. Dorothy is pretty good, and Lysithea is also pretty good. But Flame's resistance stat is spooky.
Because she's probably a dragon, or at least some kind of ancient immortal being.
Could be just a half dragon.
Did that suffice?
Because if the mother is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's Hubert. Let's watch him get his ass kicked.
I mean, maybe your mother was similar to their mother.
Could be.
My brother will be pleased.
Oh, hi, Hubert. Level 60. Whoops. Wait, Hubert's not even supposed to be at the monastery this month. You don't really know. Let me think. So what else do we have to do? Because we could do training with an NPC. Yeah, fine. Let's go to Hanneman. Because I could, like, power grind my professor level, but I have, like...
Who's in that room?
This room?
No. There's an NPC standing somewhere.
Oh. We're just, like, over to the side?
No, at the room at the end of the hall.
Oh. You mean that one down there?
No, to the far left.
Oh, that's just one of the library NPCs. They only have just, like, side stuff to talk about.
Oh, I was just haven't made clearing out.
Heavy armor.
You know me. I just don't know what kind of insight they could impart, but...
I know. It's just one of those where it's like...
Can you use the crust analyzer?
Yeah, we could try using it. Let's see. Horse or bow? Horse.
Ah, just a couple points away. Ah, see, now it's whole.
But yeah, we've straight up been on this exploration phase for like 2.5 hours.
Further,
We should probably get a booksy on it, just so that we're not here forever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so no more training from them. Shamir doesn't have anything useful for us. You know what?
Have you gotten everyone up to B?
Yeah. Every single person I can.
Right, because of poor Rhea.
So I guess let's just chuck flame at people again. Because yeah, at this point I have so much Professor EXP, I'm not sure how much I like need to care.
Whoa, no, they
crit me for no damage.
No damage.
What did you expect, mage man? But yeah, I don't need more Professor EXP, but at this point that's like the only thing I can do. Also, I can do fishing for the next next section.
Will be pleased. I prevailed.
We have Hill to the physical wall, and we have Flame the magical wall. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if only they could combine their powers. Hubert, get out of here.
Spent.
So, what was it? We had a fishing tournament not long ago, didn't we?
Yeah, fishing tournament. But there's a thing called Fistfuls of Fish next month that gets us like boatloads of Professor EXP. Okay, so we need Ash and Felix.
And why were you training them up?
Because they can't get their advanced classes yet because their skills suck.
Ah.
They need very specific skills that neither of them have.
Okay.
So this...
Okay.
I've learned...
And are you aware of what these classes require?
Yeah, I'm trying to get him up to Bow Knight. Which is hard.
A Bow Knight?
Yeah. Let's see. I should probably check his goals. Ash is bow and horses. Felix is still sword and reason. Alright, back to that. Who else needs training? Who else is not a secondary level? So, Grappler, Mage, she's a Warlock Priest. But she should be enough to get Bishop, no problem. Paladin, Cavalier. What's his horse level? Horse level is D. Oh. Heavy armor. Oh, but that's weird and awkward. Oh, I guess that's actually not so weird and awkward, because, okay.
You still need stars in it, though, right?
Yeah. It's weird. I was expecting him to be more of a, let's see, I was expecting him to be more of like a mounted unit. But in reality, he's actually supposed to be a great knight.
Oh. Were you aiming towards a sword mage class with her, or what was going on? Who's going to be the sword mage?
Sort of. She doesn't really need it. I mean, she kind of does. But not really. I've just been having her go down faith and reason. So she just has a wide variety of spells that she can nuke people with.
It was...
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So yeah, she's good. Ignatz is still kind of a frustration. Because I straight up, like, his strength and magic stats are, like, near equal.
Mm-hmm.
Which more or less makes him kind of useless. I have the same problem with Lorenz, because lots of people are like, man, these two are great casters, and I'm like, I'll try it. And then I get to a certain point, I'm like, they're just, like, the most weirdly all-rounded for reasons. Let's see, so he's really good with axes and heavy armor, so...
Heavy armor?
I guess we should go back to training him in axes.
I'll get it.
Okay, and I'm out of people to instruct. So we should probably switch Caspar. We don't need more Wyvern Riders. Well, we kind of do. But it's better that we have him do axes and heavy armor. Okay, that's good enough. Group tasks.
Yeah. Who will you be sending out?
So for the little bit of extra EXP, let's have Ash. And not Ferdinand. Probably Leonie. They're not going to do well, but that's okay because...
May I ask a question, Professor?
Oh, wait. Don't even have a question to ask. How would I even think of one? And, I mean...
So you just did. It's important that you think for yourself, or you don't need to. Talk about whatever you'd like. I think the bottom one...
Yeah, sure.
I guess I could do that. Thanks. Professor?
I don't believe in the goddess, but I do believe in you. Wait, what? What did she say? This is about changing classes?
Yeah.
Let's do our...
Oh.
Okay,
Here's the result, Professor.
That group activity is not very good for EXP.
My efforts have borne fruit.
not as hard as I thought.
It all makes sense now.
Looks like I'm getting it.
Technique never betrays.
Okay.
What's this with the red?
That means big monsters have shown up.
Mm-hmm.
So if we go to this, rare monster sighting, and we can do dividing the world.
Oh, wait. Let's look at the green events, because wasn't there a couple that ended the 22nd?
There's one more that we haven't done, and no, I believe we've done all of those. Let me just quick look over. So Petra's almost there. Here, let's save. We might be able to promote some folks. Hey, Wander's streaming in 60 FPS. That's new. I am? That's news to me.
Is that higher than usual?
No, it says I'm doing 30 FPS. When I get my new computer, I should be able to do 60 FPS. Currently that's too much of a drain on my current rig. Okay, so Ash. Ash can either become a sniper or a paladin. Well, I guess he's going sniper. We don't have a whole lot of snipers anyway.
Mm-hmm. He's always been... Whoa, what was up with the overlapping music there?
Oh, it's because the stat bonus music was playing over it. It's like a jingle that plays.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, he always seemed more proficient with those.
I wanted him to be part sword, a mounted character.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because,
so that he could get to the chest more swiftly.
So he can get to the chest faster.
No,
Nope.
failure.
And that is why Felix needs sword skill. Because he can't get promoted for some reason. That's why I haven't been using him.
Oh, look, your little chibi has green hair now.
Yep, radioactive green. I actually wish the character in the game had, like, as vibrant of green hair as this. Like, if it actually glowed and put off light and stuff. Like, that'd be pretty rad.